This video is for all my church and worship and CCM bassists out there. We need to talk. So having been in ministry now for over 20 years, I can tell you that I've played with a lot of bass players. From inexperienced all the way up to professional. And there are a few things that I've encountered throughout the years with a lot of them that happen often enough for me to bring it up and talk about it. Now, some of these things have been a little more frustrating than others. This video is not meant to slam anyone. I'm trying to look at it as just helpful advice for any bass player out there that's playing in church, playing all that CCM stuff. Whether you've only been at it for a couple of years or maybe you're a seasoned professional and still do some of these things. Either way, I've compiled a very short list of just a handful of points that I need to bring up because somebody has to. So if you think you're gonna get triggered, just pause the video, go pray, and come back. Seriously though, this is just a short list of some helpful tips coming from a drummer for mostly, newer, inexperienced bassists in the whole CCM worship space. That will certainly help you out and hopefully, prevent you from getting jumped in the parking lot after church. Now, before anyone gets offended out there, just let me reiterate. I'm not talking to you as a bassist. I'm talking to you as a drummer. Okay? I'm just trying to help you all out. So the first thing that I want to bring up, I'm bringing this up first because it's probably the most important one for me anyways. But as a bass player, you need to learn how to support a song dynamically. Okay? You need to know how to navigate this fretboard so that you can help to enhance the dynamics of the song. Now, this is a combination of knowing your instrument and using your ears. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. There's been more than enough occasions for it to really get on my nerves where, we would be right sort of at the height of a worship song or something. Things are nice and thick, everything's cooking, big crashes, big grooves, everything. And my bass player is noodling way up here. Or there could be another situation where, we're ending a song. Nice, big rit at the end of it. I set up this huge ending, flap, bing. Bass players, I need to tell you this. There is absolutely no weight on this half of the fretboard. All of your weight is in the lower register, okay? So when you're feeling that things are nice and thick, you need to be down here, man. We need support on this thing, okay? If we're playing big, you need to support by creating that foundation, and it ain't gonna happen if you're noodling way up here. So keep that in mind, okay? Just sort of keep that analogy in your head. All of your weight is in the lower register. So when things are thick and heavy and they're cooking on stage, you need to be supporting down here. So again, that's just a combination of knowing your instrument and using your ears. One thing I will bring up though, is that if you only got 4 strings, you're limiting yourself. I don't know how this whole epidemic with P basses happened in the CCM space, but a lot of y'all need to ditch that P bass, get yourself a 5-string. The second point that I want to bring up is another important one, and that's this. You need to help us establish the pocket. All right? I've played with a lot of bass players in the past that for whatever reason think it's a cool idea to jump on the melody instead of playing the bass line. Now I can tell you straight up, as a drummer, that can be super frustrating when that happens. All right? You might be over there making your inside smile, but I'm telling you, I'm mean mugging you like crazy. Now they call us a rhythm section for a reason, right? That's our job. That's something that we need to establish for the rest of the band that's up there. So if you're playing your bass like it's a guitar, it's not helping anybody. So you need to resist the urge to, accompany the lead vocal or whatever it is that you got in your head there. You think it's going to sound cool, and just establish the pocket. Lock onto the kick. If you got your ears in, make sure you got enough kick and snare in your ears so that you have a reference point that you can really lock onto it. This third point that I want to bring up is more so for lesser experienced bassists out there that are just, you're still getting your feet wet. But just to let you know, tone is a thing, all right? Choosing the right tone for the song is a thing. So this is more about you spending some time with your bass at home, your tone knobs, get used to all of that stuff. Where you're playing makes a difference as well. You get a fatter sound here, thinner sound back here. All of that stuff makes a difference. This all has to do with sound shaping, okay? Picking the right sound will help to create the right feel for what's going on up there. And I would urge you to keep it relatively simple, okay? You don't need to put these things through $3,000 worth of foot pedals to get the right sound out of it. So just like we as drummers need to think about our sound when we're playing, you need to think about yours too. Now this fourth point is a big one for me, man. And this applies to anyone that's up on the platform, regardless of what instrument you're playing. You need to make good musical decisions. That all comes down to the idea of learning how to produce yourself while you're playing. So whether that means, just playing the right bass fill for that moment, or maybe laying out all together and leaving some space, or maybe going to a 16th type of thing for a couple of bars. Like, these are all little micro decisions that you're constantly making on the stage. Now, on the other hand, making bad musical decisions can really have a horrible effect, or can be a distraction, to what's going on in that particular moment. So you got to make that call before you do whatever it is that you're going to do, and just ask yourself, is this going to help, or is this going to hurt what's going on? And if the intent for that musical decision is to just bring attention to yourself, you need to cut that off altogether. So I'm constantly producing myself when I'm in any musical situation, and I'm talking down to the small details, whether it's hitting a splash or doing some kind of thing on the toms, or maybe going to a halftime feel. Like, all these little decisions I'm making in my head. And then these last couple of points that I want to bring up, just want to give honorable mention to. First one is to show up prepared. All right? Get as much of that music in your head as possible before you show up, because you don't want to be staring at a page the entire time you're up there, because you want to be able to communicate with the rest of the band, and it's hard to do that when you're staring at a sheet the entire time. So if you manage your time wisely during the week, then you should be able to show up on Sunday, good to go. Songs are in your head. You don't have to stare at the page, and you can focus now on just being in the moment, communicating with your drummer, okay? Using your ears, reading the room, making good musical decisions, all of this stuff, all of it. Then this last one that I want to leave you with before I go, practice. Practice, practice, practice. And I don't mean practice the songs. I mean practice your instrument, okay? I cannot tell you how frustrating it is to play with people that don't take their instrument as seriously as you take yours. If you said yes and you made the commitment to be on the worship team, you didn't just make the commitment to play on Sundays. You're making the commitment to put the work in outside of Sunday. So if you know you can't do that, don't say yes to being on the team. So make sure you find that time, put that work in, you know what I mean? Run your scales, work with whatever books you're working with. play along to other types of music, all of that stuff. This is where you're gonna get all your musical ideas from. But I'm gonna leave you with that. I don't wanna beat you all over the head any more than I already have. But if you have any more tips for bassists that you're playing with, maybe you wanna share this video with them, but you can drop a note in the comment section. Keep it civil. You know, we all gotta get along out here. But that's my advice for today. Hopefully it helps somebody out. That's all I got for you today. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure you share it if you dig it. Like, subscribe. See you next video.